This is RTV6 News at 7, working for you.
Now at 7, the state of Indiana will not advance to Stage 5 this weekend as originally planned. Good evening, I'm Amanda Starantino.
And I'm Mark Mullins. Instead, we'll be at Stage 4.5 with capacity limits remaining in place for restaurants, bars, and entertainment venues. Governor Eric Holcomb says the decision to hold off on fully reopening the state is due to worries about a possible increase in COVID-19 cases. The governor points to rising numbers in more than half the states across the country.
That spread is not slowing down. It's just doing the opposite. And that's why you see a number of states that are actually, even though they've maybe reopened recently, they're now going back and closing some of those facilities or closing parts of their economy. We don't want to find ourselves in that situation.
Governor Holcomb says the current restrictions will stay in place until at least July 18th. The state will continue its current 250-person limit on social gatherings. Since June 12th, restaurants have been allowed 75% capacity in their dining rooms, while bars, nightclubs, bowling alleys, museums, and amusement parks have been open at half capacity. The State Department of Health reports 8 more deaths from coronavirus, bringing the total to 2,456. More than 45,000 have been diagnosed with the virus. More than 489,000 people have been tested with 9.4% testing positive.
Today, the state launched a new campaign urging all Hoosiers to wear their masks. It's called Mask Up Hoosiers. The campaign features several people, including our Rafael Sanchez, holding signs that say why they are wearing a mask and who they are wearing it for. One of the biggest goals with this campaign is to encourage Hoosiers to wear their masks out in public, is to reach the younger generation. Leaders hope by putting the video out on social media, our youth will see it and be encouraged to do their part to keep everyone safe.
It really is about protecting other individuals, and it can give you some protection also. The CDC just on June 28th matched the WHO's recommendations that the public should wear masks in public, and I think that's a really important message for us to get out.
You are now encouraged to go online, download your own sign from the state's Mask Up Hoosiers page, then take a selfie using the hashtag Mask Up Hoosiers to help spread the message. And with 18 weeks to go until the November election, a lot of people are working to make sure that voting is easier and safer for Hoosiers during the pandemic. But one organization is helping one group of people know that they do have the right to vote this fall. Our Cornelius Hawker breaks down the misconceptions about whether people who have been incarcerated have a voice at the ballot box.
What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now!
Protests for racial justice and police reform have been front and center over the last several weeks, calling for change. But Joyce David with Project Leah tells me these protests can only go so far.
How long are we going to protest? You have to change the system from within the system.
And the way to change the system, Joyce says, is by voting.
The people who really have the power to better our lives, to change the justice system, it's all in the power to vote.
But people who have spent time in the justice system may not realize they still have the right to vote here in Indiana.
I was incarcerated for 5.5 years. And during that time that no individual ever came in and said, hey, your voting rights can be reestablished, upon your release from prison.
Through her work with Project Leah, Joyce wants to pass along, here in Indiana, you have the right to vote even if you've been locked up. The ACLU of Indiana is also fighting against low voter turnout with their Yes You Can Vote campaign, hoping to reach folks who have been incarcerated. For Joyce, seeing organizations and people talk about this issue brings her hope. Hope that more people who've been impacted by the justice system will feel comfortable asking questions when it comes time for them to exercise their right to vote.
It sounds corny and it sounds cliche. Knowledge is power.
Working for you, Cornelius Hawker, RTV6.
Well, temperatures, they're in the upper 80s. We did hit 90, as a matter of fact, today, and we've got more of that on the way. But right now, we check radar. We've had a few showers flare up, but none in the viewing area now, but can't rule out an isolated shower here until after sunset. What's ahead? Temperatures will continue to warm up. Still to come, we'll talk about several things. How many dry days we can string together, how long the heat will be around, and, of course, your 4th of July forecast. That's all still ahead.
Kevin, thank you. We're hearing more today about the federal lawsuit filed by two women accusing several IMPD officers of brutality. We first told you on Monday that this is the case stemming from what happened after a May 31st protest downtown. Today, the attorney for Ivory Westfield and Rachel Harding says they were not part of the peaceful protest that night. Westfield was beaten and Harding was pushed down after police claimed they tried to resist arrest for violating the city's curfew. Today, their attorney showed pictures of the bruises left on Westfield by officers, and he also says no one from the city has said anything to either woman.
Our Marion County prosecutor, our chief of police, our mayor has not once reached out to them. And even with the promise that we will investigate, we find out from the local news that their investigation has concluded and they were not going to file charges. They were going to try and sweep this under the rug. We're not going to let them.
The only statement from the city has come through its Office of Corporation Counsel. The office says it does not comment on pending litigation. The family of Dre'Jon Reed is again calling for a federal investigation into the fatal police shooting. This was the scene today as police with metal detectors returned to where that shooting happened. Reed's family says they were asked by the special prosecutor in the case to remove a memorial honoring Reed from the site. The 21-year-old was killed near 62nd and Michigan Road on May 6th after leading police on a vehicle and foot chase, all seen on Facebook Live. Metro Police say there was an exchange of gunfire, and that's a gun found at Reed's body matched a weapon seen during his Facebook Live stream. Reed's legal team says his hands were full and he was unable to shoot at police. A number of downtown businesses are trying to slowly move back to normal operations. Today, some of them started removing the boards from their windows. Those boards have been up since the police brutality protest began downtown in late May. Some of the boards were later painted with murals and other artwork by local artists sharing messages of social justice.
And a reminder, RTV6 and our partners at Radio 1 are joining the conversation about racism and racial inequality. A conversation on race connecting Central Indiana will feature a variety of panelists from the community. You can submit a question by going to our website, theindychannel.com. Watch the virtual town hall at 7 p.m. tomorrow, July 2nd, right here on RTV6 and on our digital platforms. It will also be simulcast on 3 Radio 1 stations.
Will he or won't he? As the Indiana Pacers get ready to play out the rest of the season, we're hearing from Victor Oladipo about whether he's physically ready to get back in the game.
Just search RTV6.
The Pacers start the month of July with the workouts today as the team's facility downtown. The NBA is scheduled to restart its season on July 30th. Several questions remain about players that may not go to Orlando for the summer session. Pacers guard Victor Oladipo said today that he's still undecided as he continues to work his way back from that 2019 leg injury.
You know, I appreciate my team and this organization for backing me and supporting me with whatever decision I make. But, you know, at the same time, I'm trying to focus on my knee and getting as strong as possible and seeing where I'm at. So, it's, like I said, I'm taking it one day at a time. And hopefully I can make a decision soon. See.
The Pacers are scheduled to leave for Orlando next Thursday. They'll be sequestered in the NBA's bubble on the Disney World campus for the duration of the trip.
The military is making a major push to hire Hoosiers. The Army is now working to recruit 10,000 new soldiers in 3 days. It is all part of the branch's first nationwide virtual hiring campaign. The men we talked to say joining the Army was the best decision they have ever made.
You're also going to be looking at the possibility of using telecommunications, other wireless communications.
For 15 years, the Army has been the career home base for Sergeant First Class Jeffrey Regal.
And, here it is almost 15 years later, and I'm still in, love it. I've got that college paid for, got the degree hanging up on my wall at home. So It was a really good decision.
Joining the Army has opened job opportunities Sergeant Regal says usually comes as a surprise to others. With more than 150 different career paths, recruits can find almost anything they are interested in doing.
We have everything from the transportation field, the medical field. We have lots of jobs that revolve around the STEM field, just about whatever you want to do. On my last deployment to Afghanistan, I actually ran a forensic science lab in Afghanistan.
As an Army recruit, you will be trained both physically and mentally to learn the confidence and the skills needed to be a soldier in the United States Army. And with so many different individual career fields to choose from, they all also transpire to the civilian field.
Civilian side, I want to be in the fire service.
19-year-old Noblesville High School grad Jonathan Decker enlisted on May 18th and is waiting to go to boot camp next February.
I'm looking to become an officer. I'd love to go active and be a second lieutenant. And I want to get through college well, and the Army will really help me to do that and, get my career moving forward.
They are hiring full and part-time soldiers across 150 different career fields, ranging from traditional combat roles to support positions in accounting and finance, logistics, engineering, and technology. Special cash bonuses are being offered to those who enlist during this 3-day event. Army recruit Keegan Johnson is a busy man. He is pre-med at IUPUI, working on his bachelor's in science degrees in both biology and chemistry, while in the Army Reserve.
I volunteered for the service for a couple reasons. One, support my country. Two, build up my resume, leadership skills, training, and all the above. Three, the benefits offered by the Army and the military are top-notch. Absolutely. The health insurance is the best. You don't get much better than that. Also, they help with my student loans and other things, and are really helping with continuing my education.
The U.S. Army is a good option for anyone who is looking for a career path and also has the calling to serve. For more info about what the Army says it can do for you and your career goals, go to hiringhoosiers.com. Kevin.
I'll let you know what a big blue H on the weather map says about our 4th of July weekend forecast coming up.
To be a part of that family.
A few months ago, housing market experts were unsure how the real estate market would rebound during the pandemic. But now Alicia Nieves shows us they're not only surprised by a strong bounce back, but also by a new trend.
The housing market halted at the start of the coronavirus pandemic in the U.S., but now
housing economists have been optimistically surprised about the return of buyers to the market.
Economists like Skylar Olson with Zillow say this sector of the economy is seeing the strongest recovery.
A lot of properties that are coming on the market and having showings scheduled within a couple of days, and a lot of multiple offer situations.
Over the past few weeks, New York City area realtor Michelle Pfeffer has noticed not only a strong market, but a new trend. The most competitive sales are with homes like this one in the suburbs.
We're definitely seeing more people moving out of the city. We're getting people who've, been in quarantine for a couple of months now in small quarters and maybe have decided that it's more of a priority to have a yard and space.
Lingering uncertainty around the pandemic and a possible second round of closures and self-quarantines have motivated many of these moves.
I think that that's a big part of it, but also because we've had a big technological shift. Companies that weren't offering remote work options previously were sort of forced into it and found that it was effective, which means that they don't necessarily have to be in the office every day, and it gives them the opportunity to live in further distances.
New York City is so far one of 3 cities seeing the trend of a substantially higher number of people moving out of the city and into the suburbs, according to research by Zillow. The company is monitoring sales and home searches to see if this is a trend that will spread to other major cities or not.
This experience can bring a lot of changes to housing, but it's a little bit too early to see how it will actually net out. And you can imagine a lot of different ways that could play out.
I'm Alicia Nieves reporting.
Well, the change in the forecast, no daily chance for thunderstorms. We'll hold off on that for a while. High pressure will do its job, kind of bringing drier conditions, but also warmer temperatures. Excuse me. Temperatures will, I think, over the next 7 days probably reach 90 degrees or warmer each day. Keep in mind, we've had just 4 days that have reached 90 degrees so far this summer. There's 3. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, temperatures as warm as 93 for your 4th of July weekend. Temperatures peak on Monday. Rain chances very low, and by low, I would say 10% Thursday, Friday, Saturday. They go up to 20% as we get to Sunday. You never say never, just because whenever you have that combination of decent humidity, which we'll have, and the heat, you could bubble up a thunderstorm. We have not done that on any widespread basis today. That's the sign of the change to come. Southeast of Seymour, a couple of rain showers there. These would be very isolated through the evening hours. Lots of 8s on the map. 88 in Bloomington, 88 in Bedford. Temperatures just shy of 90 in Seymour. As far as the evening hours, temperatures will fall into the middle to upper 60s. That's a little more comfortable than we have been and will be. Over the next 7 days, most of the low temperatures will be around 70 or so. We bounce back quickly. 73 at 8 a.m., 86 at noon, 90 degrees. Tomorrow afternoon, the wind out of the northeast will help a little bit, hold the humidity down, and I think that will be noticeable over the next couple of days. Still humid, just not quite as oppressive. Friday temperature setting the stage for the weekend. Up we go. 92 in Indy, western Indiana, lower to possibly middle 90s. Your Saturday forecast, the heat index, what it will feel like when you factor in the humidity, middle to upper 90s. The actual temperature at 93 degrees. Early next week, Monday is the day. Should be our warmest temperature in Indy at 94 degrees. 7-day planner. Temperatures, as we mentioned, well above average. Overnight lows don't cool off. Afternoon highs consistently lower 90s, if not a little bit warmer. And our rain chances remain low, starting again Sunday and then peaking on Wednesday when we have about a 30% chance for thunderstorms returning. That is your hot and sticky 7-day forecast.
Apply online today.
They were among the last places to reopen in the Hoosier State, but now bowling alleys all over Indiana are back in action for the summer. One longstanding bowling center on Indy's east side has a fresh new look inside. Brad Brown shows us how they're ready for the pins to fall.
For more than 3 months, bowling alleys all over Indiana remained silent, but this past weekend saw the pins starting to fall again.
It was weird coming in here and not having any customers. There were several times I was confused on what day it was because my leagues weren't bowling, so I wasn't sure what day we were really here.
All-Star Bowl on Indy's east side has hosted rollers from all over the city for decades.
My mother actually was pregnant with me when she first started working here, so they built it in '76. The old owners built it in '76. My mom probably 78 when she first started working here. Yeah.
The pandemic shutdown allowed time for a full remodel. The old lanes looking brand new again.
You know, when we were doing all the maintenance stuff, I don't want to say I didn't pay attention, but like when we literally opened up, I was like, oh, it's a different bowling center. It's not what I was used to, but I like it. I like it a lot.
That fresh look goes into the alley's cafe and lounge. Local artists sprucing up the space, much the same all over these old walls. Spring leagues turned into summer. Fall leagues will be starting before you know it. All-Stars regulars are ready to get back to throwing strikes again.
Our junior league is probably one of the biggest junior leagues in the state of Indiana. Our senior league is amazingly big too. On Tuesday afternoons in the fall, they take up the entire house. Saturday nights in like the fall and winter, if it's raining and snowing, we're packed. I mean, weather's bad, you have a lot of bowlers, so yeah, people want to get out and be able to go do something.
The All-Star Bowl staff has new policies in place for social distancing and extra sanitation around the facility as well. Summer leagues are underway. They are signing up for fall, and there is plenty of hours for open bowling available as well. All-Star Bowl is open Monday through Saturdays on Indy's east side. You can find a lot more information on their Facebook page. Working for you, Brad Brown, RTV6.
If you can spare, get it? A little time. There's your forecast for tomorrow. Right around 90, some sunshine. It won't be too humid. I know the lingo, guys. I can make sure it's a closed frame.
You still got me laughing, Kevin.
All right.
Thanks for making RTV6 your choice for news. We'll be back at 11 with Kevin with all the jokes.